Here with our own fact check with actual facts, Committee to Unleash Prosperity co-founder, the great Steve Moore. Joe Biden lied about jobs. He lied about inflation, and Aaron Burnett said nothing. That's the strategy. They go on and lie and hope the lies turn into truths because these left-wing lemmings don't push back.
Good to see you, Dagan. And it was interesting. Aaron Burnett was nodding her head as he said these outrageously crazy things. And, you know, I don't know what's worse, guys. I don't know what's worse if he was intentionally lying or he just doesn't know what's going on in the country. I don't know what scares me more. But the facts are the facts. And the facts are that when Donald Trump left office, we had a 1.5% inflation rate, virtually the lowest inflation rate we'd ever had in at least your and my lifetime. And then 18 months later, it was 9% under Biden. Maybe that was the 9% he was talking about. And of course, it's come down to about 4.5%, but that's still way, way above the 2% target that the Federal Reserve Board says they're aiming for. I mean, the bottom line is everything is 20% more expensive today than it was when Trump came into office. And the bigger problem, and I think it's the reason Trump is likely to win the election, is real wages simply have not kept pace. So the average family is about $2,000 poorer. And by the way, one of the reasons that Biden keeps saying they have more money is, you know who's provided that money? The government. But the government checks are running out. Yeah. They've spent all the COVID money.
So when we talk about inflation or consumer confidence, it was interesting because the question was, Mr. President, are you running out of time to turn it around? And Joe Biden's response was, we've already turned it around. And that's the answer, right, Steve, because usually when you're failing, you'll try different policies. Joe Biden doesn't think he's failing, and therefore continues to double down on these failed Marxist socialist policies that he's inflicted on the country for the last 3 years.
Well, I have to confess, as a Trump guy who's helping advise Trump on the economy, you know, good. If Biden wants to run on this economy, he can have it. You know, it's his. It's all his. The fact is, we didn't have any inflation when Trump was president. We were oil independent. We had created a massive amount of jobs. When Biden talks about all the jobs he created, I think you guys know 2 out of every 3 jobs he's talking about are jobs that Trump created that just came back because COVID ended. I mean, I could go on and on, but there's no question. We want to talk about the economy. If Biden wants to talk about it, bring it on, because there's no question that look, I just looked at 16 of the major economic indicators, 16 of them. On 14 out of the 16, Trump beats Biden.
If the goal is to accumulate power and crush Americans, then it's job well done for Joe Biden. Moving now on to the union representing custodians who were trapped inside that Columbia administration building by an angry mob of anti-Israel, anti-American, anti-Semitic protesters. That union preparing to sue Columbia University over that violence. Transport Workers Union President John Samuelson joined Fox and Friends this morning, slamming the university for its treatment of hard-working blue-collar men.
Imagine 2 kind of smarmy, sort of entitled, spoiled, bratty occupiers of the building come in and tell these blue-collar men and women, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here because this cause is bigger than you. When they had to get home to their families, it's outrageous. It's an affront to workers everywhere. Columbia should have never put the custodians or the security officer in that position, and that's at the heart of the matter. Columbia showed an epic disregard and epically failed to protect the workforce. I think it's part and parcel with the overall Ivy League snark that Columbia demonstrates over and over toward the blue-collar workforce.
That sums up Joe Biden's economy. It is inflict hurt and pain on the many, those who go to work every day trying to put food on the table for their families, to enrich and bail out the few, the rich, entitled pricks.
You know, Dagan, I can't really improve on what that union member was saying. I mean, he said it better than I can, really. I mean, it was just beautiful what he was saying. And just to emphasize that these elitist Ivy League kids who've never worked a day in their life, who are getting free college tuition, and then if they don't pay their loans back, the government's going to forgive their loan. They have contempt for working class Americans. And you know why that's important, Dagan and Sean? Because blue collar America, those are the backbone of the Trump voters. They are onto the scam that's going on in this country, which is that the elite, overeducated thumb their noses at people who make our economy work. It's that simple.
It is that simple. Steve Moore, always great to see you. Thanks for being with us.